Look, I don't care what you got going on right now. Getting off of work does not mean you can't work out and take care of yourself. So even as a person in their 40s, you got to be a little bit more energetic and change your lifestyle. So now just getting off of work. I know a lot of you, even in your 40s, and some of you even in your 50s, probably have you probably got to the point of your life where as though you go home and you got the same regimen. And that's a scary position to be in, because when you have the same regimen, that's a relaxed mode. Like you always in relaxation. As soon as you get off of work, you feel as though you don't have the stamina and the energy. Well, that's actually kind of false. The reason for that is because it's a lot of things you're not actually doing with your body to make yourself more energetic. The same way you had energy in your 30s, you should still have that same type of energy. It's all about the things that you do with yourself and the mental state of mind that you're in. And if you're in a good position where as though you're able to pay your bills and get things done, one of the things that you want to do is put a little bit more focus onto your health. This is something that's real beneficial in your 40s. You want to pay more close attention to your health and really, really buckle down on doing activities, going to the gym after work. One of the things about like getting off of work, it puts you into a position where as though you go home, you tend to eat. Next thing you know, you're watching TV, and then you going to sleep. And what tends to happen is this is the area of your life that causes you to be more depressed. Now, let's be honest. How many of you actually get into a position where as though you start getting more depressed with life as it goes on? You're like, man, I wish I had more energy to do stuff. Like you get off of work, you don't even go to happy hour. Not the meaning that you got to go out and go drink and catch a DUI, but I'm talking about being able to mingle, especially if you're single. If you're in your 40s, you're seeing a lot of 40-year-olds go home and just sit in the house and say, yo, I just rather be home. There's nothing wrong with just being home. But it's something wrong with just going home and doing that all the time to the point you're going to grow old and have nothing. No activities able, like you're not going to be able to do anything, because one thing about life, if you get conditioned to just do nothing after work, you cannot just live for work. Live, go to work, pay bills, get up, go back to work, come home, eat, get up, go back to work, come home, eat, and sleep. Like it's just the same thing. As men, we got to actually start to do more things. I don't care that you feel as though you need to go out with somebody all the time. You do not need to go out with somebody all the time. Just because one thing I noticed, like even now, I started peeping. You starting to see guys starting to get out of their comfort zone of just thinking that, yo, if I'm not going on a date, I'm not going to go here to the movies. So many things are implemented around relationships to the point a lot of men are starting to lose their creativity of the things that they want to do. Like if they want to do something, they literally won't go out and do it, all because they are single. And it's sad because so much of your likelihood, your livelihood is implemented around spending money on someone else other than yourself. As men, we got to, especially I'm realizing in my 40s, you have to take better care of yourself more than you would take care of somebody else. Some old ways of thinking is one of the I'm sorry. One of those old ways of thinking has killed a lot of men off. A lot of men have left here and was not able to live. And their legacy at the end always been, well, he made sure his family was good. Man, what the hell with that? You can still make sure your family good and make sure you good too. There's no reason to be walking around here as a man and being unhappy. And then your livelihood and your legacy is someone saying, well, hey, he had a smile on his face because he made sure his wife was good. He made sure his kids were good. But then at the end of the day, when you really sit back and really think about it, you didn't really see them smiling like that. They look tired and beat down. There's no reason as men we should sit up here and take on the chin thinking we need to be the ones that struggle with life because we're the ones always walking around here going into debt, trying to figure it out. Ain't no more just trying to figure it out. How about you figure it out and still be comfortable? A lot of men today are starting to wake up and realize comfortability lies in the way you feel about yourself and the way you take care of things. Taking care of things does not mean taking care of grown adults and thinking that it's going to be good with you because you're able to walk around here and look at your bank account and not be able to prosper in life. You're still able to prosper with life and enjoy life with taking care of your kids and also working as a team. That whole way of thinking that the way you live your life has to always be, well, I'm going to go broke because I want this person to feel comfortable. That is the biggest gimmick that was ever sold to men. We've seen more men die off feeling hopeless and in debt, and then they ride off in the sunset of thinking that everything was just purely comfortable. And it's not. A lot of men are miserable. And those days have come to a halt. And a lot of men are starting to wake up and realize we have more to live than to just walk around here and just work, and then die off. That ain't cool no more. It ain't cool. This is why you're starting to see men starting to really live. That's the whole thing about life. Life is not made for you to just be here, just to present yourself to another party and think that everything is just cool. Nothing cool about being miserable. And the thing about life, when you working as a team, when I look at look, I'm gonna tell you something. I peeped something that really resonated with me. I seen a couple that actually, man, I looked them up. I didn't even look them up. It came across my timeline. It's the things in your algorithm that you look up and things that just come to you. And I seen this couple, and they was married for a long time, and they still married. And this lady said something that really made me sit back and say, wow, I see why so many people are miserable. It's a user mentality world today. And what happened was, not what happened, how they was able to have a life whereas though they felt very comfortable in their own skin was because she said, yo, she never ever looked at her husband. Even like when they got together, they never looked at each other as somebody take on the whole blunt force of finances. They always looked at everything as, are we going to both be comfortable? And she even said that when she was broke, and he had a couple dollars and he was feeling good, he actually was like, no, I'm cool, I got lunch, I'm gonna make sure you good because I'm cool. She said it resonated with her because she actually thought about that and said, wait a minute, how is it? She even said, I felt so hopeless and felt so like negative about myself because I had no money to buy myself lunch. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, damn, I don't want to ask him because we just met and we've been talking for at least a month, and she felt like he would think that she's trying to use him. And she didn't even bother to even say anything. But she was like, damn, I feel like kind of crazy because I have no means. And I don't know who to ask. She's like, she said her thing was she was going to ask her mom. She said, but what happened was they was talking on the phone. And as he was talking to her, he noticed that, like she said, she just noticed that after a month of them just seeing each other damn near every day, he peeped her energy was a little off. And so she just said, yo, she's like, I'm going to be honest with you. She said, she didn't even ask him. She just was like, look, she said, I'm just like, I'm a little off today because I went to actually like get myself something to eat on lunch break. And she said what happened was when she really like went to go to the ATM, she said she actually was in a negative. And he got quiet. And she didn't say anything. Then he said she said maybe like a couple seconds passed. Like as he was going, I guess she said in her mind she felt like she was going to keep talking. But in the midst of that, she had stopped. So he ended up saying, oh, damn, you ain't had no money to eat? And then next thing you know, he was like, yo, check this out. He said, yo, when you get off of work, she said, I'm gonna make sure I like when you get off of work, she said, I'm gonna be off an hour before you. He's like, when I get off, I'm gonna just wait for you. And once you get home, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead, we can go ahead, go grocery shopping and make some stuff. He didn't say nothing about like go out and just buy something. He had said something about groceries. And right away, she said, she didn't even say anything. She said right away, her heart like she felt like a bunch of butterflies. And the butterflies was a thing of like, she said, it felt like she wanted to cry. But she didn't want to seem like she was like super emotional. She said, but what that did to her was actually changed her whole perspective of the way, like she said she didn't think negative of him. She said, but she was really liking him. She said from that day, she felt like, oh, I could never lose this guy. And she said, now I look back and I see why we're still married. And they like, the thing she said, they was damn near what, close to 40 years married. And she said from that point on, they have never ever allowed each other to take the blunt force of finances. And what was crazy that resonated with me when I was like, damn, where did the whole mentality come from? Where one party is always looked at the one that always go broke. And people say, well, like you'll hear the whole thing of, well, the man should be making a certain amount. That's not how the world is set up. I don't know what happened, but something, I know what happened. I don't want to say because we kind of know what happened, but a false narrative have been printed out that made two parties think that, I'm not going to even say two parties. You had one party think that they can progress and leave the other party behind, meaning that, you know what I mean, as women started progressing in life, something changed, whereas though men are still able to look at as the provider. And they say it's set up this way. Well, yes and no. Men have been able to progress and also set up boundaries, whereas though the woman was able to also put an input in by helping the household too. So both parties were also able to actually work well with each other. But the problem is, what seemed to happen is a lot of things kind of transpire with that conversation, where my mom stayed home and she did this and she did that and she had to worry about anything. But for some odd reason, when these conversations come up, the negative stuff come up. Well, my father cheated on my mom. I notice all the negative things come out. And the reason why is because when you look at the narrative, even me growing up, my grandpa did the same thing. But I'm going to be real. He did have multiple girlfriends. And my grandma was also reckless too. I don't know about who she slept with. I don't know all that. All I know is my grandma was a loose cannon. She popped my grandma in the, not my grandma, my grandpa in the head with some type of glass bottle. She caught him in the bar. But what was crazy is, that wasn't right, but he made sure the household was good. And always. But another thing that he also did, he made sure my mom was well, like as a little girl, because my grandma was actually not, she was not the best parent. So my grandpa took on my mom, and looked at my mom, which is his granddaughter, and looked at her as that was his daughter. Even though he, you know what I mean, it's his granddaughter. But my grandma couldn't do anything to my mom. And I'm going to tell you why. Even though that was her mother, he basically said, if you ain't taking care of her and I'm taking care of her, you no longer able to discipline her. And I get that. And that's one of the things that is lost out here. It's the whole boundaries and the way people look at the hierarchy. No matter how you look at it, men are the destructors. Like, we will cause destruction. But with women, it can cause turmoil. They can make you turn against people. With men, we do have boundaries. We also can be reckless. But at the end of the day, we all are flawed on both sides. But the one thing that we do have to understand, that is now at a point where as though we act like, not we, was taught to us now in a later age, like when people are starting to get older and people forgetting or being taught in schools that everybody is separate. We are not separate. We're supposed to work together. This is why certain cultures have fallen off from each other. While the black culture, especially us, don't look at each other as together. I don't give a damn what nobody say. We are not. It's the reason why you can't walk through the hood at night and not be from there. And you're going to not only be also, you can be offed, you can be robbed, or you can be violated. Whereas though you can be extorted. So many things happen to you in our culture. We cannot ride off in the sunset and think that everything that we say in life is going to make sense and say, well, it's just what it is. It ain't just what it is. It's the ignorance in our mindset. Everything is separate. When everything is separate and everything is looked at as how it is, when we look at men, how men look at themselves like we just in the background now, it's the reason why everything is falling off. It's always been a hierarchy. It's always been a king. It's always been a queen. But this is the problem. There's no such thing as a black man is always king and all black women are queens. That is not how that is. For some odd reason, that has now killed our community bad. Killed it. Because we've been making names up. We've been giving each other's names. Calling each other's kings, queens. We are not kings and queens. We are people that need to work together. We are the culture that are falling because we give all this false hope and all these narratives that seem to always try to mentally make us think that we're higher than what we are. We are not. We are people that are losing. We're losing. And as a person that's in their 40s, we are losing. I hate it when you say something about us and then all of a sudden somebody say, nah, we winning. And they start mentioning Oprah, Jay-Z. Start mentioning people that we don't, come on, man. Like, if you think we are winning, and the only people you can think of that are billionaires and millionaires are entertainers, we have lost. Do you know, I go to areas every day, in rich areas. You know what's sad? And we say, well, we've been held back. Shut up. Shut up. You know how much money I done pissed off in my life? I done pissed a lot of money off. You know how much money I done pissed off in my lifetime? Not my lifetime. And my under 30, and this is me, and this is the sad part of my reality that made me wake up. And I'm glad I can say this now. I'm going home right now to my home, which is a investment property that I own. But this is the part about life that I learned late. And I learned this from somebody that was not my color. Not to say I couldn't learn from my own color, but it was because I was sitting by this person in Vegas inside of a casino. And this is what changed my mentality. But I'm going to get to that. The thing that made me angry at myself when I learned later in life. And I don't want somebody to think, what you learned, you're going to miss the damn point. That ain't the point that I learned late. Because how many of us learn late and don't learn a goddamn thing and it's too late? People say it ain't too late. It's too late for some of you. Because some of you done did something so egregious. You done crippled yourself. Whereas though it's damn near almost impossible to dig yourself out of the hole that you dug yourself into. It's sad. But this is the thing that hurt me, that made me kind of wake up. Not kind of, made me wake up. I pissed so much money off in cars. I remember my first luxury car, 21 years old. My downfall, my beginning, was my Lexus GS. I had to have it. I had to be that bull that felt special. 21 years old. That's what? 45,000. 45,000 at that time was a lot, especially for a 21-year-old. Wasn't an average car I'm driving around. And not only that, I didn't think the maintenance was high, but at the same time, it was a luxury car of the time. I graduated the class of 98. Class of 98 in 2002. I was, hold on, 17, 18. So I forgot. Well, yeah, I don't even want to do the numbers. But I turned 21, about to be 22. And I had to cop the Bubba GS so I can be that dude. First mistake. Had that car for several years, maybe 2.5 to 3 years. Might have had it about 3 years. Got the car repoed. Know why? Because I purchased a house out of state. Purchased this house, supposed to be my first investment. Second mistake. Second mistake right there. Detrimental. These are the matter of fact, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to do that on another video. I'm going to stop there because I'm going to leave that into another video talking about the downfalls that happens when you in your 40s and you regret the bad decisions you made. But these things that I think we need to learn how to actually start to grow and help each other out. And it's going to take both parties. Don't let nobody beat in your head that you need to be making all this egregious amount of money. Because what's happening now is you're seeing a lot of men lose it. All because they took on a blunt force of bills. Alright? So, wake up and realize that if both parties can't come together and be able to take trips and put their money into a pocket, who's the one really prospering? Who's the one losing? Alright? So think about that and sit down and really consider that when you're picking your next mate. But men, especially in your 40s, a lot of you done probably made mistakes and you regret it. But at the same time, we got to start living and stop living for other people. All right? I'm sorry I went on a little rant, but it made me personally just think about that and think about the men that I come across that's even in their 30s, late 30s, even some in their 50s, and they wish they can turn the clock back, but they can't, and it's sad. But at the same time, you shake their hand, give a hug, dap, and you bust it up. Only thing you can do is talk about it. But along with talking about it, you also got to be productive and start doing some things about it. All right? Start doing some things outside of your comfort zone. All right? Live.